The fourth element at play in my conversations is one of honesty. So if you think about tongue-in-cheek romanticism and you think about the irresistible arsehole, what they are is they're deviations from what's expected, and they're also not serious. So if you did it solely, you might be seen as a guy that is just this, this guy that just can't be serious, can't get an honest answer, and you can't find anything out about, can't connect with. And that might be fine in some situations, but something nice to include would be honesty, and that's my fourth element. So the way it goes is like this. If she asks me a question, so she might ask me if there's other women, I could use, for example, the tongue-in-cheek romantic answer. I could say, oh, no, of course not, baby. You know you're the only girl for me. Like that. Tongue-in-cheek romantic, or you might be the irresistible arsehole, and you might say, yeah, of course, You might play it up, this week, well, I don't know. I might actually have to go at 3, I've got another girl coming around. You can really play up that arsehole element, but after a time you want to be honest. So the first response could be arsehole, tongue-in-cheek, basically evasive, but evasive in a way that adds attraction. But then the second response could be the real response. So if she's asked you about whether you're a player or not, you could give that response first, and then you're going to give an honest response where you say something like, you know what, honestly, I'm dating a few girls, but I am a guy that can be monogamous, and I really like having girlfriends. When I meet a girl that I like, I don't cheat on her, I treat her really well, but in the meantime, I'll be honest, and I'll say if I'm dating other girls, and everyone will always know the whole situation. So you'll say something like that, and she'll really feel it, she'll believe it. And it's because you're showing that you're not always just saying what she wants to hear. But if you keep being evasive the whole time, she wonders what you've got to hide. So at some point, it's nice to be honest. Another example might be where she says, when she said she was training to be an architect, and you were an irresistible arsehole about it, you could then back off and say, no, but seriously, I think that's really cool, actually. And then ask her a question about it and connect with it. What it means is that you're giving her, she never knows when it's going to come, but there's going to be some unpredictability. She's not going to be able to pin you down. But when it's something she cares about and something you want to connect with, or something you have a genuine opinion about, you can be honest about it. And that way you're ticking all of the boxes, and she's going to trust you, you're going to build that connection, but you're going to keep it interesting the whole time as well. So I think a lot of guys mess up when, the good example is when a girl asks, what do you do? And he says, I'm a mobile, portable cigarette lighter, disposable cigarette lighter repairman, or I'm an arse model, or whatever it is. He has these silly responses. And it all goes wrong when he wants to keep going down that, like, no, seriously, I am. I work at McDonald's, I was the employee of the month, and he keeps going down that track and he won't tell her the truth. The key thing is to only use that once as an attraction spike to make her think, oh, this guy can be funny, this guy is, interesting, but you don't want to get into the situation when she thinks you're evasive, she can't believe a word you say, and she doesn't trust you. So at some point, it's good to switch to honest. So I'll normally give one evasive response that builds attraction, and then one honest response that builds connection and trust. The third element of stealth seduction, along with micro-escalation and conversation control, is multi-level communication. This means that you're communicating on 2 different levels using your verbal and your non-verbal. So in most cases, your verbal is going to be pretty plain, and your non-verbal is going to be sexual. The reason for doing this is quite interesting. A good way to think about it is that girls have a good girl part and a bad girl part. So you're talking to a girl, she likes you, and her bad girl part is saying, I want to kiss this guy, I want to go home with this guy, I enjoy sex, I haven't had sex for a few weeks, I'd like to sleep with this guy. That's what her bad girl part is saying. Her good girl part is saying, my friends are going to see, I shouldn't do this, I don't want to be too easy, I don't want to be a slag, that's what's going on. So you've got this conflict in her. Girls have tripwires that provoke a big reaction. So for example, you're talking to a girl, you lunge in for the kiss, whoa, what's going on? You go and touch the boobs, whoa, what's going on? And these are tripped when you start dialing up the sexual tension in an obvious way. And she feels that there's some point that she has to say no. She feels that there's, a guy talking to her, he's just going to keep going and escalating, and at some point she's going to have to say, whoa, stop, all right? Multi-level communication is a way of removing the no. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be talking to the good girl part and the bad girl part at the same time, so that both are happy with the situation. I'm going to give you an example. So I might be talking to a girl, and I might just be saying, oh yeah, so what are you doing tomorrow?
Just going to be with the girls.
Oh, that's interesting. What are you going to do with them? Just going to have a drink and stuff?
Yeah, watch a movie.
Oh, that's cool. What kind of movie do you normally like to watch?
Chick flick.
Chick flicks. Oh, that's cool. How's this verbal interaction? Very, very boring. But what's going on behind the scenes? If we reverse it and just replay it again. So what are you up to tomorrow?
I'm with the girls tomorrow.
Uh-huh. What are you up to?
Watching a film.
Oh, really?
Just chilling.
What kind of films do you normally watch with them?
Girly chick flicks.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's cool. What, like Hugh Grant and stuff?
Oh,
okay, cool. Yeah, I've seen a couple that I like. Generally, I don't like them, but sometimes I'm surprised. I watch one and I quite like it.
It's always good.
So what we've got going on is boring verbal conversation that doesn't provoke a no. But you've got the non-verbal going on that increases the sexual tension. What this means is you can escalate non-verbally more than you would if you did both together. So for example, if I was talking to her, I'm like, oh really? And I started touching her, she might be, whoa, you're moving too quickly. But if I'm breaking eye contact and I'm very poker-faced in my verbal game, I'm able to do a lot of stuff non-verbally. The other thing that it deals with is the worry about other people in the room. You're all watching this and you didn't know what was going on before. So she knows that. She knows that her friends won't see, other people in the club won't see, so she'll accept it. This allows you to do some really cool stuff. Something that is very attractive to women is when you're touching them up or you're sexually escalating in public, but in a way that other people can't see. So if you've got a girlfriend, this could be, at dinner, doing stuff under the table, and, this is something that all girls like, this is something that really turns them on. You can use multi-level communication to do some really crazy stuff. You could be in a club and you're talking to a girl and her friend, and you could be touching up her bum, and no one will know. You could even put your hand up her skirt, down her jeans. You could do that, and if you do it slowly and you're seeming to have a cool interaction with everyone else, she's just going to enjoy the turn on and never feel she needs to say no, because you're in control and you're being subtle with it, and you're satisfying her nice girl part and her bad girl part.